And because now you know that you are creating the content that they want, that they find valuable, that is going to resonate with them, it not only helps them with whatever it is your services help them with, but it'll also help you and your Instagram account and your business, because it'll get you more engagement, which gets you more reach, which gets you more followers, which gets you more leads, which eventually gets you more sales, right? And it's all from just asking a couple questions in your Instagram stories. Welcome to the Mompreneur Mastery Podcast, where we share actionable Instagram strategies that fit into a busy mom's schedule so that you can get more engagement, more leads, and more sales in less time so you can spend more quality time with your family. I'm Sydney O'Brien, an Instagram strategist who started my business with 3 kids under 5 and found a way to do it without sacrificing quality time with my family and only working 2 to 3 hours a day. I love helping other mom business owners find that seemingly impossible mom work-life balance instead of spending too much time creating content that isn't getting them the results they want. If you're an overwhelmed but very ambitious business owner and you want to strategize the heck out of your Instagram account so that you can save time and make more sales, you're in the right place. Welcome to episode 26 of Mompreneur Mastery. Today I'm going to be talking all about the number one mistake that people make when they're creating their Instagram content and trying to sell their offers on Instagram. And honestly, this isn't even specific to Instagram. It applies to so many aspects of marketing on any and every platform, and even just creating your offers. It is just incredibly valuable, and I am really excited for you to learn about it so you cannot make this mistake if you are right now. All right, so let's get real for just a minute here. Can you just virtually raise your hand if you have ever poured your heart, your soul, so much of your time and effort into an offer or a piece of content and it just flopped? My hand is raised. It's up. I hate that. You work so hard, you put so much into something, and then you share it with your audience and you just get crickets. And not only is it just a huge waste of time and resources on your end, but you don't get to help the people that you want to help with your offer when that happens, or with your content, or with whatever it is that you are sharing, right? To be super real and vulnerable here, I had a few offers last year where that happened, and it really sucked. It stung a lot. I mean, who, especially mompreneurs, wants to spend all that time and effort and energy creating something for it not to get the results that you wanted it to get? Not only the time it takes to create the content or the offer, but specifically for an offer, all of the time it takes to set up the back-end tech stuff, the sales page, the marketing emails. There's a lot that goes into it. So for it to just flop sucks, basically. And I know I don't have time to be wasting on things that are not going to get the results that I want, that I need to be able to continue to grow my business. And I am pretty sure that you are in that same boat. So to avoid that time waste, not only with creating offers, but also with creating content that will resonate and connect with your audience, your dream clients that are out there hanging out on Instagram, I am leaning hard into market research. I have a lot of big things that planned, new freebies, new offers, all these things that I want to do in 2024, but I don't want to repeat some other launches. So I am doing lots of market research to make sure that the offers and the content about these offers is as helpful as possible, it's as accessible as possible, and it's done in a format that is valuable to my audience. It's something they can actually consume and implement, in their busy lives. I don't want to waste time creating content that helps my audience solve, step 17 of any particular problem when they're still on step 4. That's a waste. It's not going to help them. It doesn't help me, and it doesn't help my business. I cannot stress enough how important it is that your content is for your audience. Even if you think And like, I'm sure you do, you know what you're talking about. But even if you think you know what your audience needs to hear, they might not be ready for that, So, and you don't know unless you talk to them and ask them. Because if your content is not about your audience, it's not going to resonate with them. And when it doesn't resonate with them, if it's not valuable to them, it's not going to gain traction. It's not going to get engagement. It's not going to get good reach. It's not going to get you followers. It's not going to get you leads. It's not going to get you sales. So to make sure that your content is super valuable to your audience, you got to ask your audience, what is valuable to them? What do they need right now? That is market research. Basically, market research is just gathering this information about your target audience, what their pain points are, what their desired outcomes are, what they're hung up on, what steps they're on, all that kind of stuff, what words they use to describe the steps, the struggles, all of the things. This is going to help you so much with your content, your messaging, all of it. So to do the market research, seeing as you're here for Instagram help, you can do it on Instagram. This past week, I used Instagram stories to do market research, and it was amazing. It was so incredibly helpful and valuable to me. I'm working on a new freebie. I wanted input from my audience, and stories was a great place for me to do that, because Instagram stories, there aren't not as many of your followers watch and engage with your Instagram stories, but the people that do are your most engaged followers. So they're your super ideal clients. They are the ones whose opinions you want when you're creating new content and new offers for them. So my particular case, it wasn't about creating content. It was creating this new offer for people. So I'm going to tell you how I did it, and then I'm going to tell you what questions you can use in your stories to get information about content. I started with a video talking about what I was doing, what I was working on, creating a content calendar, a month of content ideas, so you can make a month of content in an hour. And then I said, I have some questions to make sure it's as valuable to you as it possibly can be. And then I just shared the questions over a couple of slides, over a couple of days. The thing with sharing these questions on stories is you want to keep it as simple as possible so people actually engage and answer your questions. So either or polls work great for this. And then I just shared the questions. So the thing about this is you need to keep it so super simple if you want to get a lot of answers, which obviously you do. The more data you have, the more data informed your content or your offers will be. So another way to make sure that people actually engage and answer the questions is highlighting what they get out of it, right? So for me, it was, can you answer these questions so that my next freebie is as valuable to you as possible. And the more specific you can be with that, the better, so that you can easily create a month of content in an hour. And again, with keeping it simple, I always start with poll questions where they don't have to actually type anything out. They just tap on an option. It's a lot easier for them to do, so they're more likely to do it. And as a side note here, the more engaged your audience already is, the more successful this is going to be for you. So if you haven't been doing a lot of outbound engagement with your own followers, commenting on their posts or responding to their stories, I would hold off on doing market research until after you've done that. Otherwise, not as many people will see your stories and not as many people will want to engage, because even though it's virtual, it's still a relationship between you and your followers, and there's give and their take. You can't ask for them to give if you're not also giving to them. So some of the questions that I asked in my stories, in case you don't see my stories, were how would you feel if you could get a content calendar that gave you a month's worth of content that you could create in an hour? I asked them how much time they spend creating content in a month, because I want to reduce that time significantly. That's the whole point of this calendar. I asked them how much time they want to be spending creating content each month so I can help them get to that goal. One of the poll questions I asked was, which is more appealing to you, a content calendar that grows your audience or that gets you more engagement? I asked what they considered engagement to be. Was it likes? Was it comments? Was it saves, shares? What comes to mind when they think of the word engagement? Another question I asked was, what would make your life easier? A month of Instagram posts that foster connection or that get you a bigger audience? Yes, it's very similar to another question. That's kind of the point. I wanted to see if any of these words resonated more or if it would change answers for people. And then the last and my absolute favorite and most important question is, what feature would a content calendar need for it to be a huge success for you? I got a lot of great suggestions here so that I know I am creating something that will actually be helpful and that isn't missing puzzle pieces where they're still going to have to struggle and stress over creating content. So that is just to give you an idea of what kind of questions you could ask if you're doing it for an offer. Now, if you are wanting to do it just for content ideas, I have some question suggestions for you as well. The biggest three I would ask and continue to ask periodically, just changing out the terms, would be, what is a bigger struggle for you when it comes to insert the thing you teach here? Maybe it's bookkeeping, email marketing, meal planning, whatever it is, put that term here. And then list out 2 or 3 options for them to choose from. Second question would be, which is more appealing to you? And then list several different things that you think motivate them. Maybe it's saving time, making more money, whatever you think their general desired outcomes are, list a few options there and see what they choose. And then the third question I would ask would be, which is more important to you? And list 2 or 3 transformations that your services offer. As an example, for me, it could be like saving time on Instagram, getting more followers, getting more sales, getting more engagement, things like that. These are all things that I can help people get that I think they want. And based on what they answer, I know what kind of content to create that will be valuable to them. And you can ask these questions, change out those terms, ask them multiple times over multiple days with, like I said, different options to get a ton of super valuable information as to what will help your audience and also what will motivate them. And you can come up with just a ton of different content ideas just from asking a few simple questions in your stories. And because now you know that you are creating the content that they want, that they find valuable, that is going to resonate with them, it not only helps them with whatever it is your services help them with, but it'll also help you and your Instagram account and your business, because it'll get you more engagement, which gets you more reach, which gets you more followers, which gets you more leads, which eventually gets you more sales, right? And it's all from just asking a couple questions in your Instagram stories. I am so excited for you to do this in your own Instagram stories and get so much valuable information that's going to help your Instagram account and help your business. And if once you have the answers, you're not sure how to use that information to actually create the content, I want to help you out with that. I want to offer you a week of free coaching in Instagram DMs so that you can know how to create weeks worth of content from this market research that you are about to do, or maybe that you already have. So if you want free Instagram content creation coaching, that is a mouthful. DM me 2 words, content coach, over on Instagram. I am at socially.yours.strategist, and I would be so happy to help you with that. So again, a week of free coaching, DM me content coach on Instagram. I will put a link in the show notes, and I look forward to talking to you. Thank you so much for listening. If this content was helpful for you, if you found it valuable, I would love it if you could leave a review on Apple Podcasts so that other mom business owners can find this episode and get the same tips and strategies to support their business and their families. If you have questions or just want to connect, you can find me over on Instagram. My handle is at socially.yours.strategist.